What is going on, everyone? It's AP over here at Run Pier Sports. We're back again for another week of PGA. We're bringing you our strokes gained show. I'm here with my two main guys. We got Uncle T, we got Hoop. Uncle T, how was your week last week?
Yeah, went pretty good. Other than, being quarantined with COVID for the second time and missing you guys last week. I missed being on with you guys. Like I said, enjoy every Tuesday to break these slates down. Was quarantined a little bit, but on the backside of that, so I'm feeling pretty good. As far as the golf, I had a pretty good week going. I actually had Finau and just talking to Schneider off the air about it a little bit, but I had an outright bet on Burns, and I had Burns and Finau in the same lineup. And I was sitting really, really nicely. And then both of them, again, kind of dropped down a slot there and cost me a couple $100 there at the end. But, hey, Schneider had a nice outright bet on Max Homa, so it was nice for him. Not as good for me, but my main team did pretty well. Martin Laird really cost me. He had a birdie putt on 16 on Friday to make the cut from 3 feet. And he hit it by 4 feet. So that kind of hurt my 6 of 6 lineup. But yeah, overall it was a good week for me, and looking forward to this new track this week.
Yeah, I will say PGA and this show specifically has been absolute fire. And Snyder and our guy Snyder, that outright was, I was very overweight Max Homa, but I did not have an outright bet on him. Snyder did. He had it in the bets article on the bet side. It was just, phenomenal. If you haven't yet, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us out, helps us to keep this free, helps us to help you find the winners. So that's what this show is all about, and that's what our job is. Hoop, how was your week, man?
Week went well. The start to this show, not so good. Took my first sip of beer, and it bubbled over, and it's all over the table. So as soon as I go through this little spiel, I got to go grab a towel to clean up this mess. But in terms of the golf last week, it went well because I'm pretty sure, I can't remember for sure, but I think I picked Tony Finau to win on the show. I may have, I could be wrong. Someone can correct me if that is not the case.
You did. You definitely did. Yep.
Yeah. I thought I had Finau, and it's the same thing we talk about with Finau every week. He is so damn talented. He's going to win events. That was his event to win. Didn't get it done. I mean, that's been the story of his career. But guess what? For DFS purposes, where he's priced most weeks, if he gets that second place, you're going to be feeling all right. And your pocketbook's going to feel all right too. But man, I really like to see him. I'm a Homa guy though too. I really like Max Homa. So that was, I was happy to see him. I was on both those guys last week. I think we were as a team on Finau and Homa. So the picks and the plays went pretty well. And just, PGA is just so exciting right now with all the talent. I mean, just so many guys, so damn talented. I mean, Sammy Burns has been, he's probably been the most consensus, top pick for us since the restart last year. I mean, Sammy Burns has been in the RPS guy. I think Uncle T kind of labeled him as that, a couple weeks ago we were talking about him. Sammy Burns is an RPS guy. Treated us well last week. I mean, the result, obviously a little disappointing in terms of wins and losses, but for DFS purposes, he did well, and he's a solid golfer. So a lot to be excited about. Last week was a good week, and, I want to just keep building on the momentum. I mean, I think we've been pretty spot on, and hopefully we can do it again here this week.
Yeah, we had a 75 or 70K winner. I had a good week, 3 weeks in a row. No big, screenshot worthy cashes yet in PGA, but 3 weeks in a row. I've at least doubled up, or the last 2 weeks, I think I've 3x to 4x my buy-ins, which I'm always pleased with and happy with. And it would have been a phenomenal week for me if somehow, Carlos Ortiz was the guy I was high on. Our guy Snyder was trying to get me onto Fitzpatrick, who was 200 cheaper. If I would have went Fitzpatrick instead of Ortiz, which I was just extremely overweight on Ortiz, I would have taken down everything because I was very heavy Pat Rogers. I was very heavy Mr. Ham, Wyndham Clark. And then I was very heavy Max Homa. And then, we had the other guys as well. I got to give a shout out to Showdown stuff as well. I think I cashed very nicely two of the 4 rounds. Snyder kept on me, kept me playing. The final day, I made a big stand. I faded DJ, who was 70% owned, and that's really all you had to do was make a stand like that, and it worked out really well for me. And we put a lot of that content on the website. We have every single round posted, every showdown round, and then we comment and post additional thoughts in Discord too. So if you haven't yet, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Additionally, if you're not a member, we have a promo code going on right now, Workbench21. It's going to give you a nice little discount, little tasty discount off your first purchase in checking us out. And then additionally, if you get a screenshot and if you got our logo, go tag us on Instagram. We are at Rumpier Sports on Instagram. We'll repost your story. And I guarantee you, well, not guarantee, but I'm very, very confident that you will get some swag if you do so. So go ahead and do that. Now let's get into the event this week, because I feel so good about golf. I upped my volume last week. I'm going, it's a WGC event this week. So a no-cut event. Usually I dial it back. Not the case this week. I'm feeling very good. I have some very bold calls this week that I'm excited to talk to you guys about. So what I'm going to do, Uncle T, talk to us about this event. Talk to us about the course. Get us kicked off. Get us started.
Yeah, I will. I'm usually with you as well. Usually on these no-cut events, I like to dial it back a little bit, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to dive in like I normally do. We've been picking a lot of winners and a lot of good mojo going with the RPS golf guys. So I'm going to go back in like normal this week as far as volume. But as far as, the course itself, again, we left the West Coast in Arizona and California. Now we finally get down to Florida, back on the East Coast, earlier tee times, obviously, for you to set your lineups. Don't forget about that. But yeah, this tournament's been played in New Mexico the last couple of years as far as this WGC event. In that JT has really dominated. So I think for some people in the field, they might be happy that it's at a different venue this year. But it's going to be played down in Bradenton, Florida. And the name of this is going to be the WGC Workday, not Workbench, Workday Championship.
Oh, it's the Workbench.
Workbench.
That's
right. We're printing this week, Uncle T.
Yeah. We should have put
printing this week. I guarantee it, my man. The Workbench Open. Let's go.
Yeah, the funny part is I was just reading earlier, up until 2 weeks ago, they didn't really have a title sponsor of the event, and Workday stepped up. So it's going to be the WGC Workday Championship at the Concession, which holds a little bit of, history. 1969, the Ryder Cup, Jack Nicklaus, and I think it might have been Tony Jacklin. There was a 2-foot concession putt. So that's where the concession title comes in as far as that goes. Way too much about the title there. But anyway, again, this is a big boy course for sure, guys. The only thing we really don't know at all, we have no idea how we know the course is going to play tough. We have no idea what this winning score is going to be. It could be 3 or 4 under. It could be maybe 8 or 9 under. I seriously doubt this gets into double figures. I really do. I think this is going to be from the tournaments that we've seen from January 1st at the restart, by far going to play the hardest out of any of these courses. So for me, I'm usually a guy that likes the guys to struggle a little bit and to see, more or less the cream rise to the top a little bit. But as far as the course itself, the fairways are pretty wide. So I don't think hitting the ball and getting ball off, off the tee is going to be a huge issue this week, but they're very, very small greens. So we're going to have to obviously target those guys that are able to, scramble around the greens and get up and down for pars. I think could be good scores on some of these holes this week. There is a lot of water. I think there's 6 holes off the tee that have water. And then I think maybe 9 total. And then a lot of bunkers. So, there's trouble everywhere. The course slope is 155. So if you guys that follow golf, that's just extremely, extremely difficult course. So again, for me, I'm looking forward to it a lot because I like these tough courses where guys, par is a good score and like 18, 20 under. I don't like those courses, me personally. So again, Bermuda greens, I'm looking at it as a second shot golf course. Like I said, with the course being able to hit most of the fairways, I look for guys that are good on their strokes gained approach this week, primarily. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, great breakdown. I agree with you. Yeah, let's dive in. And how we do this each week, we are going to go tier by tier. We're going to talk about our favorite plays in that range, and it's this format's been good. We've been finding the winners, so why change anything at all? Hoop, I'm going to start with you. Talk to me about 10K and up, which is definitely an interesting range this week because we have no cut. And so, I mean, talk to us about this range, your strategy, and what you're doing this week.
Yeah, 10K and up. Obviously, we have a lot of the similar names that we've seen in this range. Anytime they tee it up, starting with DJ, then Rom, Shoffley, JT, Rory, Cantlay. A couple of these guys, I'm just going to cross off. And, I haven't played Rory at all in a while. I just don't think he belongs in this tier. Do I think at some point he gets his game right and he's contending a little bit more? Yeah, I do. And it could be this week, but I'm going to be off him. I'm taking the you got to prove it to me approach with Rory. He hasn't proved it to me basically for an entire year. I mean, really, he hasn't proven anything. And yeah, if you're a game theory person and all that, then yeah, sure, maybe you play Rory. I'm not. I'm off Rory. Another guy I'm going to be off in this range is your boy JT. You kind of said it best last week. He hasn't looked good, and the whole thing with taking the classes because of whatever he said on the course, and then his grandfather passed away. He looked really bad last week, so I'm going to be off him. I'm going to stick with the guys that have golfed well, and they happen to be the most expensive, and that's DJ and Rom. I'm seeing a lot of negative talk about DJ, and for me personally, I like that because I think his ownership is going to be a little bit lower this week than we typically see. I mean, he is much more expensive than everyone, 500 more than Rom, 800 more than Shoffley. Than everyone else. It's more than 1,000. The price difference, and people, in these events when they go to this 9K range and they see all these names they really like. They're going to pass up on DJ. So I see DJ coming in lower than he should be this week. I'm going to be on him. I'm going to be on Rom. Xander, we talked about it a couple weeks ago when he was priced up here with these guys. Yes, I think Xander is elite. Yes, I think, he can go out there and win any single week that he tees it up. But with his price so close to these guys in this top tier, and didn't look all that great last week. I mean, still a solid T15. I'm gonna pass on him. Cantlay at 10K. Probably pass on him too. So I'm gonna be on DJ and Rom in this range. And it's if you're playing those two, it's kind of hard to pick a third because of their price tag. So probably gonna leave it at those two, DJ and Rom, and fade these other guys in this range.
Yeah, good comments. I agree with you on a couple of the things, and I think you'll be surprised about one of my stands I'm going to make this week. But first off, Uncle T, what about you? 10K and up. What are you doing with this range this week?
Yeah, a lot of times when I go into these no cut events, is my thought process like most initially anyway before you dig in and do your research is stars and scrubs, right? Because obviously you're not worried about making the cut, and you take a few more chances on guys down in that 6K range. When I look at this 10K and up range again, I might take it a step further than Hoop. I really don't. I don't like any of these guys. I just don't. I definitely think I could see myself starting in the 9K range that we'll get to here in a moment, because I do like several of those guys. And I think depending on the build and who you like, I do like a couple guys in the 6K range. I think you can get 3 of the 9K guys in and still feel pretty good about yourself and have still just as much win equity. But as we go down, I guess if I had to pick a couple guys, I agree with what Hoop said at the top. I mean, DJ, he's been on fire. He didn't play well last week, but he still finished T8, right? So I know that's not what you want out of it. I think he was 11-4 last week. He's 11-6 this week. And you need a little bit more than a 10th place finish at that price. So I can understand why people wouldn't go there. John Rahm, the same thing. He backdoored a T5, really didn't put 4 rounds of real low scores together last week. But again, he did the old Rory, right? Where Rory gets through the cut and then he throws up a 63 on Sunday and then gets a backdoor top 10. That's what Rahm did last week. So I can get maybe behind a sprinkle of one of those two, but as far as Shoffley, I just can't see paying 10-8. I know he along with Morikawa were in that main team of mine that I mentioned at the open of the broadcast here, and neither one of them could make a putt to save their life on Sunday. And it was just pain. It was hurtful, as our boy JT would say. It was just hurting me, hurting my feelings on Sunday. It would be like 6 feet for birdie, 9 feet for birdie, 7 feet for birdie, and they just couldn't make a putt. But he may troll me this week and beat me, but I'll probably be out on Xander. JT, you mentioned it. He just hasn't played well. He had the death in the family. Now he's got to worry about Tiger Woods, right? You know, I saw him basically in tears in his presser today, which I don't know why the PGA Tour had them guys continue on, you know, with those live press conferences and talking about Tiger Woods in real time. I just don't think that was fair to the players. But anyway, you don't know where his head's going to be at. And Hoop and I have been on Rory from the beginning of the year. I'm just not doing it. And honestly, I think it might take 2-3 good tournament finishes for me to get back on board. I think he is a 9K golfer at best right now. He has no win equity. You know, people may laugh at me. He hasn't won in 16 months, guys. So when you say he's got, now, has he done it in the past? Absolutely. But doing it in the past doesn't help us. You know, we're on the week-to-week basis, and I just can't see paying 10-5 or 10-4 for him. And Cantlay I'm out on just because, again, we're going to get to a few guys here in this next range that I really like. Cantlay's not a bad play at all. His game travels pretty much on any course. So Cantlay would be the one, you know, in addition to maybe sprinkling in, again, DJ and Rahm if I had to. But quite honestly, I've got 4 teams right now. Probably add a 5th before Thursday. I don't know that I'll have anybody in this top 6, guys.
Yeah, those are good comments. And, you know, for me, I agree with you guys on a lot of these players. Like, I feel like DraftKings and pricing is putting a lot of value in, like, the name. Like, when you look at Justin Thomas, when you look at Rory, I mean, man, you know, you could, like you said, you could make a very good argument that Rory should be in the 9K range. And so, like, I agree with you. So, like, my stand this week, I'm fading Rory. I'm fading Justin Thomas. Like, Justin Thomas has too much going on in his head right now. It's everything else. And then Tiger Woods is, like, a really good friend and mentor of his. So, like, you know, it's just, you know, his mind can't be in the right place. And it shows, like, it's visible in his game. He did not look good at all. And so I'm fading him, even though I'm like a huge Justin Thomas guy. I'm going to play him every chance I get. And it could bite me in the butt. Like, I could fully regret it. He has so much talent. He could definitely fire it up. But man, with golf, it is a mental game as much as anything else. You could have all the skill set in the world. If your mind is not there, you're not going to be playing well. DJ. So here's my, and I'll say I'm 90% confident I'm going to fade him this week. And my only reservation is I was kind of waiting to see what Hoop said. And Hoop, you kind of, you know, maybe I show my hand a little, or maybe everyone's doing this. It priced up, you know, he didn't look good on Sunday, but DJ can turn it around at any point in time. My thought was it's a no-cut event. He's not making birdies like we once saw. Like of late, he's just been playing very good par golf, not making bogeys, and he's just been winning tournaments by not making mistakes. We saw some mistakes on Sunday that worries me just a little bit. And so I think I'm going to fade him, and I'm going to get as many Jon Rahm shares as I can. I get a little bit of a discount. I'm going to go overweight on Jon Rahm. He's my favorite play in this range. Now, look, Uncle T, there's nothing wrong with backdooring a good finish at the Workbench Open. Am I right? Am I right? Look at that smile right there.
I can't disagree with that.
And so I thought Jon Rahm looked phenomenal on Sunday. I hopefully he carries that momentum in this week. He checked so many boxes, and you know, I think he's due for a win. I think he just needs a little bit of a tweak, and he needs to put it together, and he's going to get a win. I'm going to bank on him doing it this week. And I'm just in this range. I think he's the guy I'm going to go overweight on, because once we get under 10K and even in the 8K range, I see a lot of plays that I like, and I'm going to try my best to avoid the 6K range this week. So for me, it is Jon Rahm. And Xander is always fine. If I can make him work, then I will. I'm not going to force him in, and then I'm probably fading everyone else. Uncle T, who was your top overall play in this range?
Yeah, man, again, full disclosure, I probably won't have any, and I'd be surprised if I did maybe take one guy on one of my teams, but as of right now, I wouldn't. But I'd probably go Rom and then maybe Cantlay as a second guy if I had to choose for the show.
Hoop, what about you?
Yeah, Rom and DJ, I mean, are the only two I'm really interested in this range. The rest are pretty easy. I mean, I feel good about fading them. So, yeah, pretty easy fades for me.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it over. I'm going to keep it with you. Let's talk about the 9K range all the way down to Morikawa to our guy Bryson. Talk to me about this.
I always have guys on the show that I want your two opinions on it, and Bryson is one of them. So Bryson is a guy I'm not going to talk about. I have not made any sort of decision one way or the other what I'm going to do with Bryson. I have no read on the situation at this point. I could see myself either fading him or going extremely overweight. And a lot of it depends on what you guys have to say. So I'm curious about Bryson.
The workbench open, Hoop. Let's go.
Yeah. Finau for me, obviously, I love Finau. I picked him to win last week. I think he's a phenomenal golfer. I say it every week. I think he's going to win events. I mean, maybe at some point. It's tough, man. Tough watching that last week for him. But after that grind last week and coming up a little bit short, elevated price tag this week. It pains me to say it, but I'm going to be off. I'm going to be off Mr. Finau this week, and it's very rare for me to not be on Finau. I mean, you look at the recent results: a fourth place, a T2, a T2, a second. I mean, man, this guy just can't win. 3 straight second place finishes. 3 straight. But after the disappointment last week, elevated price tag, I'll be off him. Hatton just kind of strikes me as a guy that I don't know. Hatton's a good grinded out golfer. Maybe that's what it takes to win this week. I don't know. A lot of people don't know. I mean, a lot of unknowns with this course. But the 9.6 price tag, to me, it just doesn't seem like he fits up here. I'm sure he's going to be low owned. I'll be off of him. Brooks got the win a couple weeks ago, 9.5. He's 9.5 this week. Probably going to be off him as well. I mean, I'm going to focus on those guys at the top, so I really can't go too deep in this upper 9K range. But 2 guys that I have a lot of interest in. First is Hovland at 9.4K. Really steady. I mean, all last week. I mean, there was a lot of volatility on that course. A lot of guys struggled. 71, 69, 70, 67. He was just solid all week. And, that's all it took at that course last week. If you're solid all week, you had a good finish. And, this marks his 3rd straight finish of top 6 or better, just very steady. I like him. Daniel Berger is, I mean, whenever he is not priced with these top tier guys, I'm going to have interest in him. And, 9.3K, been one of the better golfers. I mean, for the last year, really, because now we're talking about this restart. The restart was basically in April last year. So we're talking almost an entire year. Been one of the better, more consistent golfers. 9.3K. I definitely have some interest in him. I'm never really on Patrick Reed, 9.2K, and he does, it burns you. He's a guy that will burn you if you're always off of him. But that's the risk I'm willing to take. I'm going to definitely be off him here. I do have some interest in Webb Simpson. I think if I'm deciding between Webb and Morikawa, I'm going to lean Webb Simpson. Morikawa, last week, rough start, 73, then he got the 69 and then a 70, then another 73 on Sunday. Just tons of inconsistency in his game. Yeah, the more I look at this, I'm going to be off him. So I won't be on Morikawa, but I do have some interest in Webb. But the guys I like the most are definitely Hovland, Berger, and then, Webb's in there. It's probably a distant third, but it's a tough range because if you're fading some of these guys, you're not going to feel good about it. But I am curious to see what you guys have to say about Bryson.
Yeah, Daniel Berger's price is pretty egregious, I think. He's been playing so good. And I have not capitalized on his play. I hope you've been all over him, which has helped me, but he's not a guy like I wish I would have gone in on him earlier, but 9.3, I agree with you. It's crazy, even coming off a win. But Uncle T, let's dive into this range. How does Bryson look for you this week? I mean, are you getting on this guy, or who do you like in this range?
Yeah, this is a strong range for me for sure. if we starting at the top, right off the bat, I like Bryson. So
Okay.
I don't know that he'll make the core yet. Again, I really got to hammer out my core plays. Tonight and tomorrow, and we'll have obviously the website updated with the tiers and the cores as always on Wednesdays. But it's going to be a tough call for me because I really like Bryson. A small side note, and this isn't any reason why I would be on him. He's the only guy I think in the field that's played this course. In 2015, they played the NCAA individual championships here, and he won that event. Again, nothing at all to do necessarily with me liking him this week. But again, you got a decent price discount. He's back under 10K, albeit 9,900. But he's shown in the past off of a miscut, bad miscut, really. He played terrible last week. I think, again, 10%, 11% owned. I can get him at a lower ownership. He's going to hit it long off the tee, as we know. The rough isn't that high this week. And again, he's number one in strokes gained off the tee to green, par 3 score. Again, he just checks boxes for me. And again, at 9,900, you get almost a $2,000 discount off of him and DJ. And again, obviously DJ is a better golfer right now. I'm not saying he's not, but for the price discount and for the win equity, I think that's still pretty good. Bryson, maybe 17, 18 to 1. I like me some Bryson DeChambeau this week. So yes, Hoop, I do like him. Finau, no, just for the same reasons that you mentioned. Again, the guy is just snake bitten. I did have him on my main team last week, and he treated me well, obviously, losing in the playoff. But, man, you just got to figure one of these weeks he's just going to have one of them bad weeks, and it could be this week on this tough course. Terrell Hatton, he's going to be probably one of my favorite plays. He probably will make my core. His game travels. While he hasn't played over in the States in 3 months, guys, he's been absolutely tearing it up over there on the other side and in some good fields. He won the event in Abu Dhabi 4 weeks ago, I think it was, when he beat Rory, I think, on Sunday in the same pairing. And then he finished 6th in Saudi Arabia in the event that DJ won. And again, if you look at all the events he's played over here in the fall swing, I mean, the guy is just solid. He's solid tee to green. He's good with his irons. The only thing around the green scares me a little bit about him because he's not, tip-top shape with his around the green game. But Terrell Hatton is a strong play for me at 9,600 this week. Brooks Koepka, I like. Brooks going back home, to Florida. How about the 2 Florida State guys, Danny Berger and Brooks Koepka, 2 Florida State guys, 1 and 2 of the last 3 weeks. But, he's back in his home state. And, I haven't been on Brooks. So kind of to your point, AP, about being late to the party with Berger that me and Hoop have been on with Danny Berger, I haven't been on Koepka. And I think I kind of like him a little bit this week. Plays the tough course as well. Really, likes to grind out some pars. And I like him. Another favorite play, one of my favorite plays, Victor Hovland. He could be one of my plays at the end of the show. We'll see. But Victor Hovland, again, his recent form and the quality of golfer he is, at 9,400, just feels like it's a good price. So I'll probably be off Berger. I'm showing him still only about 12%. So I may hop on Berger just because, again, he's been a good workbench play for us. He's been a good RPS play. Reed, Simpson, and Morikawa, I'll probably be off. Simpson's never won a WGC event, and I just think when he gets on these events where, it's a full field event, I know he's won a major, I just feel like he's a little bit behind because he can't keep up distance-wise with these guys, and I think his irons have to be spot on for him to really compete with a full field event right now. So I'm off Simpson for that reason. I may get talked back in from our boy Snyder's, maybe going to try to get me back in with Morikawa. Guys, he missed 19 putts. Think about this. This is a pro golfer, won a major last year. 19 putts inside 10 feet last week.
It is so impressive.
Just incredible.
He is, just with the eye test. I don't care about the stats or any of that shit. Like, just watching his iron play, it is the best. I mean, it's the best. He is so damn good at getting it within 10 feet. I've played the guy a ton. He is so bad at putting within 10 feet. Like, it is crazy. Is it really 19 that he missed?
19 he counted, yeah. And one thing I'll mention, guys, I know we don't go through it, and I make fun of it a lot as far as the greens and looking at Bermuda splits and all this, but I will say this, while they're on Bermuda this week, I wouldn't go solely on the Bermuda numbers and stuff. They said they're going to double cut these greens this week, which means they're not going to play like normal Bermuda greens when they double cut these things. So I think it's going to play more like last week where these greens are going to be lightning fast. So for me, that's probably why I'm out on Morikawa and out on Schauffele this week because of how much they struggled last week on the greens.
Yeah, it's interesting and definitely good to know. For me, in this range, so like here's what I see with Bryson. So I'm very high on John Rahm. I don't think I'm going to be all in on him, but Bryson is in that range where you can click the all in button and then you can build around him. Like he can just, it feels like that 1 week again. So look, Uncle T, you said we're going to be dealing with wider fairways this week, right? You're on mute.
Donkey move. I didn't figure you'd come back to me that quick. Yeah, I mean they're not like easy to hit. They're wider. They are tree lined, but they are wider fairways. Does that make sense? They're tree lined as far as trees on both sides, but they're wider fairways to hit. So I don't think he'll have trouble hitting the fairways.
So like Bryson, he took some time off, okay, and you could see him shaking the rust off in round one. He was not good. He was good. Like he almost made the cut. He missed it. What on the number?
He missed it by 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay, but he rallied back, which is a good sign. I mean, so like I feel like he's gonna like the dust is gonna be off. I feel like this is a big boy course. He has 4 rounds guaranteed, and man, the guy can go low. I don't know. I love the price tag. You can build around. You can like lock him in and then just build completely around him and mix and match a bunch of different guys. So I'm going to be very heavy on Bryson. The Hatton comments, Uncle T, like he's not a guy I play. It's bitten me like big time not playing him in the past. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm definitely a little bit more interested now.
I think, guys, I think he could win a major this year. Yeah. I think he's that good. I mean, I know that obviously he's a top 15 player in the world. I'm not like breaking news, but I do think he's good enough, and he is not afraid of these big boy tournaments over here, whether it's a WGC or the majors he's played well in. But not to interrupt you there, but I think he could win a major this year.
The other guy and I agree with you. Like his game is, and I haven't been following him on the Euro Tour, but I know he's definitely making noise over there. Brooks Koepka, ton of interest in him. His game is really rounding into form. He only had bad, he had the worst of the weather issues at the Genesis, so we can discount that a little bit. He did rally back on Sunday. My only reservation is I guess he's been dealing with a little bit of a neck issue, so that's something. Like if you're kind of in between him and someone else. He's always, you can see him out there always getting treatment, and so that is definitely a little bit of a concern. But Victor Hovland, man, this guy has been playing so good quietly too. It's like he just goes about his business. He's so consistent. He might be one of the safer plays on the slate. I mean, Hoop, I was kind of curious if he was kind of a cash target for you with how consistent he's been. But man, he's not usually priced like in this range. And when I was talking about like Daniel Berger, it's almost kind of egregious that Victor Hovland is priced over Daniel Berger because Berger's been playing slightly better than Hovland, has the win too. So it's like, in my opinion, this range is loaded. Like I could see me playing Berger, Hovland, Koepka, Morikawa, and then Bryson. Like all of those guys are phenomenal plays, which is why I'm fading so many of those 10K and up guys. But for me, I think my overall favorite play in this range is definitely Bryson. I think I'm going to make a stand and get overweight on him. Uncle T, who was your favorite play in this range?
Yeah, I'm going to go Hatton number 1, and I'm going to go Hovland and Bryson as a 2A, 2B. I got it. Okay. Again, I like a lot of guys in this range. So,
what about you?
Yeah, it's gonna be Hovland and Berger, but I mean, you guys have sold me on Bryson. I think I'm gonna be on Bryson. I mean, I can't abandon my boys. I mean, if you're both on them, I can't go the opposite way. So as of now, you guys have convinced me. I'm gonna be on Bryson.
As crazy as it sounds,
what sort of ownership? I mean, I haven't looked at ownership.
I've got him 11. I got him 11%.
Okay, so it's easy to get over
like,
then.
And I'll be honest, again, it's clearly a no-cut event, but I think he would be a nice cash game player for you, to be honest with you, this week. I do think he's fairly safe. I mean, safe meaning clearly there's no cut, but I think he'd be a great cash game play.
I just don't understand why. Okay, so you look at him at 9.9. Why is he like way cheaper than JT and Roar? Why the price difference between him and those guys? Once you really think about it, he's typically in the same range as those guys. Same results. Obviously, he missed the cut last week. That was more one bad round. Like, he was bad in the opening round. Like that happens. He bounced back with the 69, and he was flirting with the cut line there for a little bit. So. Yeah, I mean, I think I think it's going to be 3 for 3 with the group here. Like I'm going to be on him.
I like that. It gives me some confidence, guys. He just feels cheap too. So, and like if you've seen these par threes, they're all over 210 yards. Like they are big boy par threes. And for him, that's an iron. Like he's gonna have like little easy. What is that? Like a 6 iron for Bryson. Maybe 7, like 230 yard. He hits it a mile.
I will say the further he is away from the green, the better I feel about Bryson, because man, those wedges still freaking suck.
Yeah, they definitely do. Let's go down to the 8K range. Hoop, I'm going to keep it with you. Another interesting range. A lot of plays that I think are that are definitely catching my eye. So talk to me about this range.
Yeah, so I mean, it pains me because I am a Tommy Fleetwood guy. I love Tommy Fleetwood. I've played him a ton in the past, but I can't get out of my head how bad he was when he was coming over here last year. Every time he came over, you remember, he was so great overseas, great results, and then he'd come here and he just sucked. And maybe it'll be different now, but I'm gonna I gotta see it first before I'm gonna roster him. So I'll be off him. I'm going to be on Sungjae. I think it's a good price for him. 8.8, steady performer, guy that grinds it out. T17 at the Waste Management. He's 12th at the American Express, 13th at the Farmers. I think he's a solid play in this range at 8.8. Cam Smith, I'm going to pass at 8.7. Max Homa coming off the win. I'm going to pass on him at 8.6. Matthew Fitzpatrick at 8.5. Doesn't strike me as a course where I want to play Matt Fitzpatrick. A par 72 with the par 5s and stuff. Gonna be off of him. Another guy, I mean, that it pains me to be off, but man, Hideki has been bad. He has been terrible, and he's one of my boys, man. Just like Fleetwood. I love Fleetwood. I love Matsuyama, but man, Matsuyama has been really bad. Missed cut last week. T42 before that. T53. Do I think he gets it back at some point? Yeah, I do, but I don't know if it's going to be this week, so I'm going to be off him. Scotty Scheffler at 8.3. This is a range where I'm still deciding what I'm going to do, to be honest. Like 8.3 and below, like Scheffler, Scott, not a strong read on those guys. I could see myself playing, another situation where, maybe you guys sway me or Snyder sways me. I'm torn on these two guys. I do feel good about Neiman at 8.1. I think he's a guy that, he had one really bad round last week. He was 67, 68, came out in round 3 and shot a 78. Those were very tough conditions. So I'm gonna give him another chance at 8.1K. I think he has a big year, and I think this is a value price tag for him at 8.1. And then Zalatoris, kind of the same as Neiman. One really bad round last week. He shot 69, 69, the 75 on Saturday, and then 67 on Sunday. I mean, you take away that one bad round, and he is right in the mix to win this thing, even if you bring it down a couple strokes. So I'm going to definitely be on Neiman, Zalatoris. Not sure on Scheffler, Scott. Definitely off Matsuyama. Not on Fitz. Not on Homa. Not on Smith. On him, and I'm going to be off Fleetwood. So I feel pretty good about this range. The two guys I'm undecided though, Scheffler and Scott. Curious to see what you guys say there.
Yeah, I agree with you on Fleetwood, and I see our guy Coop. Shout out to Coop. I see him talking about Tommy in chat. I haven't seen him play in a while. I got to be honest. I have not seen him play in a while, but the last time I did, he did not look good. But I like Tommy Fleetwood, so I'm gonna be open about it. I'm gonna wait. I haven't read Coop's article yet. When I read that, maybe he talks me into him because I'm always down to get some Tommy Flushwood into my lineups. And what's funny is I said this range was really interesting, and then I go and look, and I only have two guys I actually like. So
there's names here. I mean, there's a lot of names.
Uncle T, talk to me about this range. Are you loading up, or is it one that's kind of thin for you too?
No, it's definitely a thinner pool for me because of so many. I like so many guys just above it, like we mentioned. But Fleetwood, I'm going to make a play for Fleetwood for you, Hoop and AP. Right. I agree. I've actually been off of him during this streak where we've not been playing him, and I agree with all your points on why you wouldn't play him. But the guy is starting to show signs again of playing good golf. Finished 7th in Abu Dhabi a couple weeks ago in a strong field over there. Also a 26th, a 17th place finish. And more importantly, loves playing on this East Coast swing here down in Florida. The last couple of years, he's got some great results. I don't have those in front of me. I know I read an article earlier in the week, or earlier today, I should say. Loves to play in Florida. And again, when he's playing well and dialing it in, he's one of the better iron players in the world. His thing is can he get hot with the putter? So I'm not fully, he's in my player pool, probably won't make a core play for me, but I do like Tommy Fleetwood, and I will have some Tommy Fleetwood shares this week.
Let me just quick question for you, Uncle T. Why is it different though? Because this was the same thing that happened last year. He was in Europe dominating, and he'd come over here and he completely sucked.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, he wasn't, I don't think he was, at least that I recall, I don't think he was ever dominating over there. I think he was struggling a little bit over there as well. I don't think he was coming up with
maybe it's just in my head. I could have swore he all summer he'd do really well over there and then come here and he was
like I said, I've been off of him, so I fully get it. I understand it. And honestly, at 8,900, I wished he was a little bit cheaper. I wish he was in the mid 8K range where I could really get invested in him. So again, not going to be a core play, but he will make my player pool. The guy that is my favorite in this range is Sung JM, $8,800. I just feel like it's too cheap. He somehow, I don't know why he took 2 weeks off. It's crazy. I wouldn't be happy. 2 weeks off. I can't imagine what he would have done for 2 weeks off. But anyway, he's back playing. And again, 11th in strokes gained off the tee, 9th in ball striking. There's nothing to not like about Sung JM. The course probably is going to, again, we don't know, but again, judging off the big fairways and the small greens, he's good with his irons. I really like Sung JM this week a lot. Cam Smith, I don't know. I just feel like I'm on the opposite wrong end of Cam Smith the last several times I've played him. So I'll probably be out on him, especially after not having him last week when, what did he finish? T4 last week. Out on Homa, out on Fitzpatrick. Matsuyama is an interesting one because I'm with you. He's a guy I like to normally play. He's just been terrible recently as far as for Hideki Matsuyama, terrible. But boy, now he's priced out in that range. He's not 9.2, 9.3, 9.4. He's down there at 8,400. It's gonna tempt me and probably put him in my player pool, and it's gonna hurt me when he struggles. But his thing too is he just can't putt. So, his is a matter of just have an average putting week and maybe we'll get a top 10 or top 15 out of him. And the guys down below, Scheffler, Scott, Neiman, I can understand why you would play each one of them. I'm not going to do it. Again, I can't play everybody. I do have interest in Zalatoris. Just last week, he was 99. I think he was 9,900 last week or the week before. And now he's 8K. I realize it's a lot more, loaded field, but that field he played in a couple weeks ago for 9,900, there were still some big dogs in that tournament. So for 8K for Zalatoris, I just feel like it's too cheap and we're getting some nice value. So I will have shares of Zalatoris as well.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Except for you, Uncle T on Sung J, I don't think I'm going to play him at 8.8. If I'm heavy, so like just thinking about my if I'm heavy Bryson, if I want lots of shares of Rahm, I'm probably going to have to fade this upper 8K range. So that means I'll be off Tommy, I'll be off Sung J, off Cam Smith, Homa, Fitzpatrick. I'm going to be off all those guys. I do have a ton of interest in Neiman. I do have a ton of interest in Will Zalatoris. Will Zalatoris is just, man, like he's trying to prove himself, and he kind of already has. I mean, he looks really good. He feels very safe. Checks a lot of boxes. I just think he's too cheap, and I think he wants to compete. Neiman, man, if you take away that one round, the weather round, he was right there in the thick of things. So I'm definitely fine going back to him. And for me, I'm going to keep it simple. It's those two guys. I will say Hideki feels cheap. Scotty Scheffler feels cheap. Scotty Scheffler can make birdies too. And so he's the other guy, 8.3K, that I'll definitely have a little bit of interest in for sure. But I think for now, I'm going to say Zalatoris is kind of my favorite guy in this range just because I feel he's a little bit too cheap. Hoop, did you have a favorite in this range?
My favorite, let me pull it back up, in this range would be it's gonna be probably Neiman, and then I do like Sung Jae quite a bit, so those would be my 1 and 2.
Awesome. Uncle T.
Yeah, for me, it's Sung Jae number one by a large margin as far as my liking a guy in this range by a big margin, and then second, either Zalatoris or Fleetwood. Fleetwood's going to come in under probably 7 or 8%. So that's again another reason why I might take some shares of Fleetwood at a low ownership.
Yeah, I might have to give him a little bit hard of a look. I do have a soft spot for Tommy Fleetwood, but again, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's going to help us out a lot. If you are not a member, we have a promo code right now, Workbench21. It's going to get you 25% off your first payment for whatever subscription that you choose to purchase. Check us out. NBA is going phenomenal. Like, NBA is absolutely on fire. I'm trying not to watch the games right now, but the Kings game and Nets game is on, and I'm very overweight on it, and it is just going nuclear right now. So it's always fun to see. But let's keep it on golf. Let's go to this 7K range. Hoop, I'm going to kick it over to you. Let's it's not that big of a range. Let's just go through the whole range.
Yeah, we'll hit the whole range. I mean, to start, Oosthuizen is a guy I just don't play. I really don't play him. He's been fine lately. 29th at Farmers, T11 at Waste Management. I just don't play Oosthuizen, so I'm going to continue to not play him. Jason Day is a little bit interesting to me. We've seen some decent results. Towards the end of last year, a T7, a T12, another T7. I think I'm going to keep him in the player pool this week. I haven't played a bunch of him, but we've seen these spike performances. I think he's good GPP type target. Justin Rose, haven't been playing much of him. He hasn't really been over here. Some mixed results over there. T2 at that Saudi International, but another guy that's when he's come over here, the results have not been great. No cut event where I don't know. I'm not going to be on him. Man, it pains me though. Our boy Matty Wolf, man, he's struggling out there big time. Did make the cut last week, but no rounds under 70, T64, so he's kind of in the cellar the whole time. I don't think I can go there. The one guy that's kind of popping for a lot of people is Harris English. He's been, struggling back-to-back missed cuts, but man, he was on a nice little heater. Gets this no cut event. 7,500 is the lowest. I mean, the lowest price tag we've seen on this guy in a while. He was a guy that has consistently been in the 9K range, and now he's down to 7.5K. He's going to be in my player pool this week at 7.5K. Your boy Ortiz, he hurt our feelings last week. It did not feel good. Missed that cut. Bad. Another guy kind of like Bryson. Bad first round. Came back though and shot a 69 and 7.3K. I'm gonna look him up this week. Bubba, big price bump down to, or price decrease down to 7.3K. If this is a tougher course like people think, I don't know, I'll probably just be off Bubba. I guess I could be convinced the other way. Ryan Palmer is the guy I have some interest in. Just been pretty steady lately. A fourth place, T41, a T2, T42. I think he's a fine play. I mean, good price tag, 7.2K. Kokrak's another guy I'll play at 7.1K. And then the last guy that I'm going to be on in this range is I'll probably have some Kevin Kisner at 7K flat. Not the strongest range, though, for me, to be honest. Like I said, I'll have some Day. I'll have some English. maybe some Ortiz, some Palmer, Kokrak, but I'm not going to, go bonkers, I don't think, with really anyone in this range. I think they're fine plays, but not like, anywhere close to like a lock button play.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on quite a bit. It's kind of a range where I feel like there's a lot of trap plays. I feel like you got to pick and choose where you're at. Like I don't like we have some names down here too. We definitely have some names. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to be really interested to see where ownership shakes up. Uncle T, I'm going to kick it over to you. How is this range looking for you?
Yeah, sorry, I was watching that. I got a lot of shares of that Kings Nets game as well. Man, that thing's going crazy. But yeah, I'm with Hoop in this range as well. I'm a little bit thin on guys I like here. Starting at the top, Ustays, and again like Hoop, I typically don't play a whole lot. Although he's been fine. I mean, he's actually, his floor on especially a no cut event is pretty good, but I'm not going to play him. Jason Day, we just don't know what we're getting. If we were getting the Jason Day that's been a lot more consistent with his health and his finishes, I might have some interest. Justin Rose just feels like he's a little bit too cheap. I realize he hasn't played very well over here, similar to Fleetwood. I'm actually, some of these guys I'm sprinkling in this week, guys, are guys from the European Tour that, again, I don't know if it's not necessarily recency bias. It's recency that we haven't seen them over here, right? Like even Hatton, most people haven't seen these guys, but they know who they are. They just haven't seen a lot of golf from them. I'm actually taking some shares and some stabs at these guys this week because I feel like they've been in pretty good form over there. And I know that's bitten us before, but I'm going to take a share of Justin Rose at 7,700 again, coming off a nice finish over there. So I like him. Matty Wolf, I'm going to disagree on Matty. I just can't do it. I feel like him and Jordan Spieth, as far as price-wise, they've kind of flip-flopped the last 4 or 5 weeks, right? I mean, it feels like Spieth was down in that low 7K range, right? And Wolf was up in the 9K range. And now just because, again, Jordan has finished very well the last few weeks, it feels like them two are kind of flip-flopping as far as level of play recently. But Harris English is one of my favorite players in this range at 7,500, was one of the more consistent and strong players last year, and especially during the fall swing. Went through a little bit of a rough patch with a couple missed cuts, but again, his ball striking's been really well, really good. And I'm not going to let a couple missed cuts recently hurt me, especially when you're only looking at 7,500 for a guy of his talent. So I do like Harris English. I'll be out on Garcia and Leishman. Robert McIntyre, this is a guy again, another Euro guy that most people may not know about him. I'm pretty sure he's a lefty. Been playing pretty steady golf. I think he's up to 46th or 48th in the world, even though he hasn't played a whole lot in the States. I may take a couple stabs at him at $7,400. Ortiz, I'm going to go right back to coming off the bad miscut, like Hoop said, was very, very hurtful. I was on him as well last week, and it just hurt our feelings. But again, if we're going to let one miscut, if a guy is showing 2-3 weeks of no form and really struggling, obviously that's one thing, but we're going to hopefully, bounce back with Ortiz this week. Initially, Hoop, I did like Palmer with you. And I struggle with him because of two things. One is ownership in this range is going to be over 20% or right around 20, may get to over 20%, which I don't like. And I don't like playing him on water courses, and I think I know he's been better recently, but I just got something in my head with not playing him at water courses. So that with the ownership, I'm just going to take a pass, not because he's not a good play, but I'm not going to be able to play everybody. And then the last guy I do have interest in is Kevin Kisner at 7K. He's one of those guys I don't like playing on Birdie Fest for whatever reason. I don't think he's a guy that can shoot 23, 24 under. I do like him on grinder type courses. And I think this is, again, a big boy course where I think pars are going to be good. And if he can sneak in some birdies, I think he's a guy that could, again, at that price, I think he could easily top 10 or 15 by Sunday. And for the price, you can't beat it.
Yeah, for me, guys, I don't know if either of you mentioned it. I could have missed it, but Jason Day, any of you mentioned him?
Yeah, I said he's going to be in my player pool this week.
Yeah.
Just because when he golfs well, when he plays well, he's been in contention. Obviously he's come out and he's missed a lot of cuts, but when he plays well, he's in it to win it. Yeah,
and that's I actually really like him quite a bit this week at 7.8K. I'm going to have a bunch of shares of him. Justin Rose is one that always interests me just because he's such a good ball striker. His game's been hit or miss. But Uncle T, I mean, I like what I hear. Again, I'll admit, it's NBA season. That's kind of my first focus, my first love, and then golf is right, really close, right behind it. But the one thing I haven't followed that closely is the EuroLeague. But I'm going to trust you. And if you think he's playing good, that's a guy that can definitely get it going and definitely can go low. Feels a little cheap. I agree. I love Matt Wolf. He's another one of my guys. Oh man, he does not look good at all right now. So hopefully we see it soon, but I'm not going to get on him. I'm not going to play him just because something's off. And it's his around the green game isn't good. He's not hitting greens in regulation. His only thing that's good is his distance. He's long off the tee. That's all that he's doing good. It's not going to get it done. Kind of oddly, I have interest in Mark Leishman this week. He just feels a little too cheap. He's finally playing better. His putter's getting a little bit better. So I'll definitely have a little bit of interest. And man, Carlos Ortiz hurt my feelings last week. It's
come on back in with us. Give him another chance. Me and Hoops.
I'll give him another chance.
Yeah. We're backing you up. That was your boy last week that hurt our feelings. Me and Uncle T are gonna give him a second chance. I mean, it's the least you could do.
Okay.
Bounce back play of the week.
I will do that. I will do the same. Bubba, just because it's a no-cut event and he typically is a good scorer. And then Jason Kokrak, maybe. He was looking really good for a while up until that final round. And so, but for me, I think I'm going to keep it Jason Day and, maybe Justin Rose. But I think my one guy I'll be overweight on in this range is Jason Day. Hoop, did you have a 1 and 2?
My favorite in this range is going to be, like I said, I like a lot of these guys. I'm going to play them, but I don't love. I mean, it's going to be Harris English probably at 7.5K. And then honestly, it might be Jason Day in tournaments. I don't think his ownership's going to be all that high. And like I said, when he's been playing well, he's been in contention.
Cool. Uncle T?
Yeah, Harris English, number 1 for me. And number 2, I'm going back to our boy Carlos Ortiz. I think he gets us a good finish this week.
Very good. Again, if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, we've also partnered with Monkey Knife Fight. If you haven't signed up over there, go over there, use the code RUMPIER. You'll get, if you put that in, you're going to get a match up to $50. And we have a Discord channel that is dedicated to Monkey Knife Fight picks. Again, let's go down to the 6K range, and then let's pick our winners. Hoop, I'm going to kick it over to you. The 6K. Hopefully, you guys can sell me on a few guys in this range. It's a no-cut event, so I mean that's the positive. But Hoop, who's catching your eye over here?
Yeah. I mean, your boy Hoop likes these cheapies, and we got a no-cut event, so I'm going to be on some of these guys for sure. Just starting at the top, Gary Woodland, 6.8K. Man, I like Gary Woodland, and to start the year, it's like, okay, a couple decent performances. He's turning a corner. The talk was he wasn't healthy last year. Now he's healthy. And he hurt our feelings back-to-back weeks. Cut. I'm going to play him at 6.8K. But man, the results have not been great. I mean, the guy that's going to be popular down here is Answer. Just kind of sticks out as a guy that doesn't belong down here. I mean, Answer's a guy that even in some loaded fields, we were paying 9K for. I mean, we're paying 9K for Answer in big boy fields. Now he's 6.8K because of some mixed results lately. I'll definitely be on him. Lanto at 6.7, I think, is a really, really strong play. Back-to-back solid performances. I mean, really 3 out of 4 out of 5 solid performances this year. 13th at the Century, 41st at the Sony. Not great, but he's a 6.7 golfer here in this field. T7 at the Farmers, T26 at the Genesis. I think he's one of the more underpriced golfers in this field at 6.7K. I'm going to have a little bit of Mr. Munoz. He was a guy that we played a lot of over the summer, then kind of cooled off. Hasn't been great lately. 65th cut, 43rd last week. I mean, the 43rd last week is actually pretty good considering how tough those conditions were. So at 6.5K, he'll be in my player pool. My boy Champ will be in there. Mackenzie Hughes at 6.4. I'm going to play a little bit. I mean, Mackenzie Hughes is another guy, made the cut 3 out of the last 4 events, T40 or better in all those events. So I like that. That's probably about it for me. I can't. Matt Kuchar, he's got to be close to being done here, right, boys? I mean, he doesn't have much. He doesn't have much left in the tank, and another guy that just as of a year ago was competing in these events, but he's showing nothing lately. I guess one guy could be convinced on would maybe be Brendan Todd. Actually, yeah, I do like Brendan Todd. 6.4K. Missed the cut last week, 72. Didn't have any like blow up rounds, just missed it. Didn't golf all that well. But prior to that, 22nd at the Waste Management, 41st in the Sony, and then 13th at the Century. Yeah, I like myself some Todd at 6.4K. I guess the main thing for me, if I'm going to be on DJ and Rom, I'm going to have to be down here. So I'm going to play a little bit of all those guys I mentioned.
Yeah, good mentions for sure. Uncle T, what about you? What are you doing with this very thin 6K range?
Yeah, good calls there by Hoop on a couple of those guys for sure. The guys that stand out for me, Answer for sure at the top. It just feels like he's probably about 1,000 mispriced. I feel like he should be like up in that $7,800 range instead of 68. So he's going to carry some ownership. And I think one of the reasons I don't like Ryan Palmer at high ownership just above him is because I'm probably going to go down a little bit and carry some ownership by playing Abe Answer. So clearly I don't want to play both of those guys. So Answer I really like a lot. Kevin Nas played pretty good recently. Again, 6,800 feels a little bit too cheap for him at that price. Lanto Griffin's going to carry ownership. So again, I don't want to grab too many of these punt guys, if you will, that are going to carry 10, 12, 15% ownership. I don't want to do it. So the one guy I do have interest in, and I'm going to botch his name, but this Rasmus Hogard, he's been crushing over on the European Tour. A couple of top 10 finishes his last couple outings, a top 25 the round before that. And again, these guys down here, we're just looking for any reason to play them, right? To fill out, like Hoop said, to play some of those guys at the top. It's a no-cut event, so you don't have to worry about the cut. Guys even like Thomas Dietrich's been playing well over there. Munoz, we've played a lot in the past. I don't mind him. Cameron Champ is a long hitter. He withdrew a couple weeks ago. I'm not really sure what that was. Mackenzie Hughes is definitely one of the better value guys down here. He's going to come in about 10, 11% owned, but for the reasons you mentioned, Hoop, I mean, for a $6,400 guy, wow, what else could you want, right? Mm-hmm. Brendan Todd, I like that call. The only other guy I like down here is Van Rooyen. And again,
I knew one of you guys are going to say Van
well,
Rooyen.
And again, he's been brutal. He's missed 4 cuts and he's looked awful. But again, at 6,200, he's going to play 4 rounds. Again, get you maybe a 30th or 35th place finish somehow, finish middle of the pack, and he's going to pay off a $6,200 price tag. So again, I'm not as much in this range just because, again, I'm probably not going to start my lineups up with DJ and Rom like Hoop is. I get it. But for me, I'm not going to be as needing, guys in this range. So those are the guys I like.
Yeah. I think that's a good, I was waiting to see who mentioned Eric Van Rooyen. He's a guy that I've always been a sucker for, and he's so cheap. I feel like he's going to be kind of popular because he can contend in these big events. But I feel like he's the poor man's Paul Casey, where he kind of gets allergic to making bogeys or birdies. And those are going to be important this week. We need guys who can score. So that's kind of since it's a no cut event, we got to prioritize birdie making, eagle making, and so. Man, that's one reason why I would prefer to avoid him. But first off, man, our man Landa in the chat, I love this. He goes, just want to call it before we give out the winners. I'm guaranteeing a 6-figure PGA day from one of the Tuesday night crew this week. Remember, I said it. Man, that would be
I
very
get
nice.
Good mojo.
Yeah, let's hope it's Uncle T.
Landa.
You got to battle the COVID 2 times. Yeah. And, your elbow surgery, just Uncle
Right.
T is getting the 6-figure payday. I mean, man, it's like just I can't imagine having to live in Big T's shadow, winning all this money. Just one time, Uncle T, and then he's probably still making you pay for like lunch and stuff too, just because I know how big of an asshole he is.
He bought a couple times. He didn't buy today. He made me buy today. He didn't buy today.
He made you buy. Oh my god!
He's bought a couple times though the last couple weeks.
I'm gonna get on him. I'm getting on him tomorrow in the NBA show. Hurtful. That's just unacceptable.
That is hurtful. This dude is up $500,000 and he's making Uncle T pay. Oh my gosh.
That's tough.
Oh, that is so hurtful. Oh man. We'll have a talk for him. We got your back, Uncle T.
Appreciate it.
We'll get this straightened up.
I'm still waiting for my 3.0. He's got them. He's hoarding them all at his palatial estate. I'm waiting for the 3.0.
He's probably sampling them all out. I don't know if we want him at this point.
He's testing the lights out on them. He's testing like everything.
So this range. So Abe Answer, he feels safe, but here's the other thing too: is this is the WGC Mexico event that's usually in. I feel like that it's in the States, and maybe it's less pressure. And so maybe like every year he's gotten better at this event. And so it would be funny if he contended or won it when it was being hosted in the States. But still it is the WGC Mexico event. So maybe, a little narrative there if you like that. You got Sebastian Munoz. He's a guy, when I think of birdie makers, he's definitely someone that can make birdies. Cam Champ, so he's the one I had circled and starred. It's a big boy course. You're going to want length off the tee. That's going to give him an advantage. Again, his around the green game, though, is something that definitely is a concern. And so his short irons are definitely going to have to be on point this week, and his putter is going to have to be on point. And yeah, he withdrew last week. Did you guys hear why he withdrew?
Well, he's got three straight I think he had two missed cuts and a withdrawal. So again, I get it because of the price, but that's about all I'll give you. I'm not on him. So
I usually have a good read on these guys down here. And this week I'm trying to, I don't feel good at all about Gary Woodland, except for he's getting 4 rounds, but he's just not been good. Lee Westwood is fine, but he's a grinder. He's not really a birdie maker. So it's like, do I really want to pay him and play him in this format? I'd rather kind of avoid him just because he's not he's a make a ton of pars, avoid bogeys, and make 1 or 2 birdies in his round. And we're going to need more than that. Kevin Na is a guy that can randomly go low. He's good around the greens. I might have a little interest in him. He can make birdies with the best of them. So Kevin Na, Abe Answer, Wiesberger, he's a guy that always kind of pops. I got Uncle T, you're the Euro, you've been looking overseas. How's he been playing over there? Has he
who are we talking about?
Oh, is it Wiesberger?
Wiesberger, he's been hit or miss when he makes the cut. He's got a couple top 10 finishes his last four events, but if he doesn't finish top 10, he'll get you a 60th place finish. So again, it's all a matter of what we're looking for down here, guys, right? Because again, you're getting 4 rounds. We don't want to keep talking about it, but it just depends on what kind of safety, what kind of floor on some of these guys, and can 1 or 2 of them pop for you to get you maybe a top 25 to really push you up the leaderboard.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, for me, I'm looking at Cam Champ. I'm looking at, Abe Answer, Kevin Na. It is a very, very rough range. I know for a fact I'll be getting dialed in probably tonight. And content will come out early tomorrow morning, and I'll have more thoughts out there on this range. But for now, I'm gonna keep it just Abe Answer. He's the one I feel confident about this range. It's very thin after that. So Hoop, did you have a favorite play in this range?
Yeah, my favorite is Lanto. I feel really good about Lanto. Yeah, and then the other guy is Abe Answer. Obviously, I think he's just way too cheap.
Yeah, Uncle T.
Yeah, before I get to that, real quick, AP, I found something on Cam Champ. So it was non-injury related. He withdrew due to the weather situation. I guess he lives in Houston with all the outages and stuff. So it was non-injury related. If that helps your thought process on giving him a chance, it wasn't anything to do with an injury. So, but as far as my top two guys, I'm going to go with Answer is the easy play, but I'm going to go Kevin Na, and I'm going to go with this Rasmus Hogard, 6,700. I think he could get as a nice finish this week and come in at probably about 3%, 2% on.
I like it. All right, guys, let's get to our winners. We always pick two that we like just so we can put more bets out there. Hoop, do you have yours? Do you know which guys you're on?
Yeah, ready to roll. It's too easy to obviously go with DJ or Rom, so I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to come down a little bit, and I'm going to go with Sungjae. I feel good about Sungjae this week, 8.8K. It's probably 20-something to 1 to win the event. So Sungjae is going to be picked to win. And then a cheaper guy, I'm going to go with my dude down here, Lanto. Been playing some decent golf. T7, T26 last 2 weeks. And he's going to be kind of my long shot to win.
I like that. You both are on Sungjae, so I'm gonna have to. I did not have him on my list at all, but that's gonna change if you guys are both on him. I mean, man, I don't want to miss out. Uncle T, who do you think's gonna win this thing?
Yeah, I love the Sungjae call. I got him Hoop 32 to 1 right now, unless that's gone down. Yeah. So you got an even better price on him.
But... No, I just threw that number out there. I wasn't sure. I didn't look at the outright numbers, so I just kind of threw it out there. But what is it? 32?
I got him 32 right now. It depends on where you look, but that's a pretty good price. But yeah. For me, mine, I'm really torn because I got two guys in that 9K range, and I'm going to have outright bets. Full disclosure and transparency, I'm going to have two outright bets on Hatton and Hovland. For purposes of the show, I think I'm going to go with Hovland. He won the Puerto Rico Open last year in the event that's matching up with this one this week. He's not able to defend his title in that event to play in this event. I think he gets the job done this week and wins his first WGC event. And my long shot down there about 110, 115 to 1, Kevin Kisner. 7K guy, always kind of shows up when we don't really expect him, plays good on the big boy courses, grinder. Kevin Kisner's my super dog, if you will.
Yeah, I like it. So for me, I saw some stat where the winner of this event always came or has been dominated by like the top 20, top 20 in the world golf rankings. So I kind of got my eye on someone there. I think Bryson, 18 to 1 is going to be the guy that I'm on to win. And then my longer shot is a former number one in the world player, Jason Day. I think he's 55 to 1. So those are going to be my two guys. Hoop, do you have any final thoughts this week?
Who'd you say your not long shot was?
Bryson.
Bryson. Okay. Yeah. I figured one of you two was going with Bryson. So no surprise. But you did sell me on him. I will tell you that. You guys both sold me on him. He's going to be in my player pool. Good event. I mean, yeah, typically people say no cut events, you want to scale back. I see no reason why. I mean, pick your strategy and roll with it, whether it's go to stars, scrubs, not go stars and scrubs, avoid this top tier. You can make a case for a lot of different routes this week. And you can make a strong case really for a lot of different routes this week. So, pick your route, go with it. I think it's going to be a fun event. I mean, it's kind of cool to go into a tournament and not really know where the winning score is going to land. Who knows? I mean, people are saying it's going to play tough. We've seen a lot of times where people say it's going to play tough and they come out and go, 20 under. So, I wouldn't be surprised any direction this week. These guys are phenomenal, world-class golfers. Looking forward to watching it. Loaded field. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. Uncle T, do you have any final thoughts this week?
Yeah, again, looking forward to a non-birdie fest this week. Again, you'll hear me say it a lot. I love these tough tracks. I love these guys to see them struggle because We know they can. It brings less people into play on these tougher courses. The Birdie Fest, it brings so many more other players involved as far as win equity. I love these events like this. Next week, you got the Arnold Palmer, followed by TPC Sawgrass at the Players. It's a great stretch of golf, and looking forward to it. Good luck, everybody, this week in your tournaments.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Normally, I dial back my volume a little bit, but I think I'm going to keep it where it's at. I like this event. I think it's going to be another good week. I think we have a ton of momentum going. And again, the playbook will come out first thing in the morning tomorrow. Our core plays will be up. Our cash chart will be up as well. And those are all the tools that you need to run Peer this week. Again, if you haven't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Workbench 21 is the promo code that we have going on right now. Our NBA product is on absolute fire. We have shows every day. We have an up to lock show every day. We have our playbook, core plays, everything. It's just been extremely fun. Tonight's going to be a big night. I already see we got a member that, man, he might ship the world tonight. I was just sneaking a peek, looking at his build. Hopefully that's the case. We'd love to see it. We'd love to see our members win. Again, with that, we're gonna leave you with that. With me, AP, Uncle T, and Hoop. Let's all run Peer this week, guys.